roll call, please.
Mayor Wendy,
Here.
Alderperson Baker,
Here.
Boonstra,
Here.
Rondek, Burgraff,
Here.
King,
Here.
Mass,
Here.
McCanton,
Here.
Wilkie.
Here. So that doesn't sound so good. Now, this time we stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is in front of the room here. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. And the appointments, and I've already made these with Mindy. Jackie was on 3 committees, and so I put our new alderperson, Mindy Burkhart, on the Burgraff, to the Economic Development Committee, and she will also be on the Marina Committee. And so there will be 2 people then on Marina, 2 people on Economic Development, and then Jackie's down to just 2 committee. Better?
Yep.
Okay. Then we go on to the recognition of volunteers. We have none. I'd like us to try to get somebody.
There's have one next one.
Okay, very good.
Oh, and I do too.
I was just going to say we have to get better at that because there's tons of people that need that recognition. So we go on to number 6, which is communication from visitors. Is anyone here wishing to speak to the council? And you're the only one sitting out there, sir. Are you good?
I didn't sign in. So.
Okay. All right. Very good. Presentations, we have none. We go on to the consent agenda. And this we approve with one motion to approve the council meeting minutes from July 24th, to approve the bill list, and to approve the treasurer's report. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And the second, then I need roll call, please.
Alderperson King,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Mass,
Yes?
McCanton,
Yes.
Boonstra,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Rondek, Burgraff.
Yes. Very good. We go on to the business section on number 9. And the first one is, I need a motion to approve an Illinois certified police officer for a sign-on bonus. We talked about this before, and now we need the motion incrementally given out $1,000 upon hire, $1,000 at 6 months, $1,000 after the first year, and a final $2,000 being paid out at the end of the second year.
Does this have an end to it, or is this just the first one you're hiring, or is this ongoing?
Well, this would be with this application cycle, but
Just with this application?
But before we keep talking, we need
Have that
We
discussion.
gotta
motion
make
in
a
a second.
Yeah, we need a
But
motion
I'd
to
like
start.
to amend it.
Okay.
Do we need to make the motion first, or do I amend it?
Let's have the motion and a
Okay.
second, then we can have the discussion, and then you can amend it. Okay?
Make a motion.
Motion, second, very good. And so Sue, you would
I
like,
would like to amend from 5,000 to 7,000.
okay, and reasons?
Reason is that Comanche's just up theirs to 6. We need the incentive to get them here. Police officers aren't coming too easy.
Okay. And Chief, would you like to,
If we did 7,000, it would break it out into 1,500 upon hire, 1,500 at the end of 6 months, 2,000 after the first year, and then 2,000 paid out after at the completion of a 2-year term of service.
And this is a 2-year contract.
Well, if they leave before that contract is up, then they have to complete that second year of service, or they're not eligible for that $2,000.
Do they have to repay any of it if they leave early?
They just wouldn't get the final one.
Yeah, so if they left early, they just wouldn't get whatever the remainder is. So if they
And-
left after 1 year or didn't pass the probationary period, they would not be eligible for that additional because it's stipulated at the end of 1 year or at the end of 2 years.
and this is for a certified officer.
Certified, only certified.
And certified means that they do not have to go to school, and that's, close to what we pay to send uncertified one to school, so.
Nick, would you explain where the money's coming from then, please?
So based right now, we do have an open position that was budgeted. So the initial payments would come out of what that salary line item would have been for the officer who's not here currently getting paid right now. The second year, or after the first year, how that falls into the budget cycle, that'll just have to be a budgeted expenditure. Knock on wood, we were considerably under budget for overtime. Overtime is a salary line item. It could come out potentially out of that chunk of change, have you.
But you did say this is out of this hiring cycle right now.
This would be a incentive place right now for the hiring of a certified police officer during this application period. And if we get none and we have to reevaluate, then we can always make a change.
Just for clarification, the motion would read, we would want to give a certified police officer for a sign-in bonus of $7,000, incrementally given out for $1,500 upon hire, $1,500 at 6 months, $2,000 after the first year, and then the final $2,000 being paid out at the end of the second year. Amended motion, and so I need a,
Terry, you amend your motion? I amend my motion.
okay. Very good, and we need a second.
I'll second.
Very good, and roll call, please.
Alderperson Bergrat,
Yes.
Banger,
Yes.
Brondike, Wilkins,
Yes.
Van Campen,
Yes.
Bass,
Yes.
Boonstra,
Yes.
King.
Yes.
I think at this time, in where the world's at, this is probably a good idea, and because Bart, it's a one-time, we'll talk about this at each hire, then I think it's a good thing to do at this.
Check what's happening in the area.
Yes. Yes, so. All right, we go on. A motion to approve the bus route trial with the city of Clinton, the Clinton MTA, with a cost of $10,000 beginning on August 21st, 2023, and ending December 1st, 2023. We have a motion.
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
And then discussion. Now, we talked about this last time. We weren't sure about the dollar amount. We are sure about the dollar amount. We have the person here representing, so we can ask him any sort of question that we want to. But we need to make that decision now, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
The route starts next week.
Okay.
Well, why don't you explain, if you would, then the times, the drop-off, pickup?
Okay. The map is in
It's in our
27. We'll come across the bridge. I don't know what that road is that comes across, that comes over to City Hall.
14th Avenue. Right now, it would turn onto 5th Street, and then the bus stop that they have picked at this point, correct me if I'm wrong, is right in front of City Hall.
Yeah, we made that one, but all along there, every corner essentially could be a pickup. So, but we use City Hall that way, if we go further with this in the winter months, and actually, December, it could be a little bit cold at that point. So, during the times that the bus is in operation, I believe you guys are open, so they are able to get into, I guess it might be the police station, that front door there. Now, this is the route is continuing, so if there's nobody at that corner, we watch our times where we're located at, but we are rolling. If there's a time we're running ahead of schedule, they'll pull off and sit for a few minutes so we don't get. You better late than early. So after that, if that loop is added in, then it continues on, goes across the bridge, gets back on 19th or 3rd Street going north up to Main Avenue, and I guess we don't have the route in this part, but it basically is based out of the Clinton County Courthouse on the one right behind the Sheriff's Department's the jail there. There's the buses will be able to meet up there for transfers at that location. Buses are coming up on 2nd Street, so they could actually get off at the bridge at Walgreens or the gas station across the street or National Bank and catch a bus immediately. If the timings they have to meet up at the right time. So the bus starts there at the courthouse, goes all the way up the one way, does the Fulton Loop, goes north, comes back to us, goes north to Main Avenue and out to Main Avenue, ends up at the Bridgeview area, Lions Business Park, and from that point it comes down towards Medical Associates, the old Mercy One Medical Associates, which we all know it
And
is.
they will stop both of those places. Is that correct?
Yeah.
If somebody's on there that wants to go there?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a question I was asked from quite a few people.
Yeah.
Can I get off at where I need to go to the doctor, which is those two places?
Yes. So how they would stop? So you're coming across 13th Avenue North on Springdale.
Mm-hmm.
So they would let off at the corner before they cross 13th Avenue North. So your door's on the right hand of the bus, so it'd stop at that corner and use the light to let them off at that corner. So they have to cross the street to get to Medical Associates to walk up to the upper level to check in. That's, I think, what you're asking. Or that building. Now they could, we could drop them further, go across the street and get them into. We'd stay on the street on Springdale, and they could go walk into. Let's see, what is the medical supply now, or physical therapy? They could do that. But we're not going to churn and go up into the parking lot with that route.
Is this just a normal route that runs right now? You're just adding coming over to Fulton?
This is a new route. This is something we're going to try new because when Bridgeview moved out there, we did not have service precisely to that area. So we've had a temporary shuttle for those clients, and that will, if this works, that will end that. And then the bus will run every half hour, 7.5 hours, Monday through Friday, starting at 8:05. Depending on how things work, we might have to adjust the times forward or backwards, however. They're open in that area precisely for Bridgeview, they're after 8, so it's like right on time for them. Most businesses are 8 to 4:30 or 5, depending on what their schedule is.
So this is a new route?
This is a brand new route.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll be monitoring ridership to know how many people are getting on and off in Fulton, kind of thing.
Yes.
So that we know.
We'll know. Yeah, we'll be tracking that because that will be the telltale whether we can continue on. So we'll be able to tell, for the council and the mayor for the city of Fulton, you'll know exactly how many rides came out of the Fulton area. I think either way, so whether it's dropped off or picked up, and we have the totals for the whole route. Our system, it goes by even on the drop-offs, like GPS, where like we stopped here and then because they click like passenger on or passenger off, so it marks it in the computer.
So if we finish the trial period and we have a discussion about moving forward, does our portion stay at the 25% then, or is that get discussed?
We'll have to discuss it at that time, and I know you talked earlier, if you wanted your own route, something bigger to encompass the city, the whole city. Obviously, we'll have to discuss that at that time.
Well, several of the people that I've talked to about it, I made that just kind of a thing to do when I was down at National Night Out and Totally Tuesday, just saw people, would you be interested, would you use it? Most people that I talked to would need to drive down here to get to the bus.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, the ones I was talking to anyway, from here, they wouldn't be able to walk 6 or 7 blocks to pick up the bus. They would still have to come down here and then would be parking here for however long they're going. So is that what people in Clinton have to do also to hop on the bus there, or is this just unique here because?
No, well, for individuals that go along with this, for individuals that are not able to go 6 blocks, with this agreement or that you guys are going to vote on, with that you get our paratransit that goes with that. So if you have individuals that are not able to walk, So three-quarters of miles are the ADA regulations that we have to provide paratransit services up to three-quarters of a mile from this route that we have on this paper. So that would allow them door-to-door service, and we'll do, basically during this time it's going to be at this our rate, which is $2 a ride. So that would be for the individuals that they need to. We have a application process. Basically, we determine whether they're eligible, medically eligible, or how we determine whether they're eligible or not. So because you just John Q. Public like myself, I can walk a long distance. I'm not eligible. So you have to determine, make sure the eligibility is there, that they're not able to walk to within that three-quarters of a mile to that bus route.
But you make that determination, correct?
The MTA, yes, we have staff that does that.
Well, there are people who still don't like to drive across the bridge. It's hard to believe when they've lived here all their life, but there are still people that I think would be interested, whether they walk down here or take their car down here, they would prefer to do that if it can get close enough then to where they want to go. And most people I talked to was doctor appointments. They weren't no shopping. They were going to need to go to a medical appointment.
And even if say they're going to a doctor appointment and they're beyond, they're on the west end or whatever, they're beyond that three-quarters of a mile. We could set up appointments. So say they drive here to City Hall, and they ride our paratransit from here. So maybe they're beyond the three-quarters of a mile, so they're not really eligible for in the system, but we could probably get them to do it that way for those individuals.
But we do have the public parking right out back, so that is a nice, for those who can drive down here.
Right.
So I haven't ridden on a bus in a while. So this bus, if someone wanted to connect to go somewhere different in Clinton other than these stops, how is that?
They'll be so this with meeting downtown or at the courthouse, they're actually meeting up with the 13th Avenue North bus every trip. Besides that, when they come across the bridge, I have to look at the time and see how close we are. They might wait a few minutes, 5 minutes or so, for the main line coming, whether it's coming back from Main Avenue back to downtown or going north, depends on what time. Our buses leave every half hour from downtown, except the Lincoln Way shuttle out on the west end. So that all the buses that meet downtown are leaving top of the hour, bottom of the hour. So when they hit Main Avenue, or the bridge is probably 5 after and 25-2. So depending on the times, basically they might have to wait a few minutes or it might be right on time. To catch that main line. That main line gets them downtown to all the buses to get them, and if they stay on that the main line, you can get them out to Walmart or as far as the casino.
So your time frame would be from this point here, in order for me to get out to Walmart area, what time frame would we be looking at?
I'd have to look at it to give you perfect time.
I'm just
45 minutes maybe.
Okay, I'm just
I can do
questioning
that.
if people are gonna take an hour
Yeah.
to do all of this. I get these stops. But I was just curious as to.
Right. Now, with Google Transit, with Google Maps, they have Google Transit. So, once we get this settled, whether city phones in or out, I'm going to submit this new route, so they put it on the Google Transit. They have it so you can map your route. So, okay, I'll tell you, you got to walk 3 blocks, catch this route, and it's going to take you 25 minutes to get to this location. And that's through Google Maps, Google Transit. So they should be able to do that. And with our website, you can save the link of Where's My Bus, so they can see right on their smartphone where that bus is at. So they'll be able to see this, when that bus, okay, so it looks like the bus is like 3 blocks away, I better get my I took you out to the corner. Or
Well,
whatever.
personally, I don't think we're gonna be able to know unless we try. I mean, and there's a $10,000 buy-in, and that's what we have to figure out right now, so.
I have another question.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
We talked about students before, and then you shared something with us about students and then maybe changed. What did you tell us about kids being able to ride the bus over to the swimming pool in the summer, for example?
Yes, we've done this for 15 years or longer. We've done the free rides for students attending school. Now, if they're dropped out or they're get in trouble and they're suspended for a certain amount of time, they're not eligible. Then they have to pay a fare. If they get wild, if they get rowdy in the bus and their privilege is taken away for what, we actually deal with like the school resource officers when we have issues like that. But they're able to go with their school ID, show their school ID, and go
I like that.
any route in town.
We used to have a bus that took kids over to the swimming pool.
So does that go right to the pool, or is it going to drop off downtown and then go
It's on the main, basically the main lines. The main lines is on 2nd Street. So the two main lines, they run, like I said, every half hour. One's going, from downtown, one's going north, one's going south, out in Comanche Avenue. So the one that's going north goes by right 2nd Avenue South, which is where they get off at Hardee's.
Yep.
So they can walk right a block or block and a half to the pool.
they get out to the movies, out to the theater?
Yeah, Lincoln Way Shuttle. Yes.
And that's any age, as long as they're in school.
As long as they're K through 12 is attending school.
I don't know if I put my kindergarten on a bus.
No, and I wouldn't either. But there are. I mean, I'm telling you, there are some people that do, and it's scary. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but and there's probably less in today's time than 10, 15 years ago. I started out part time with the city 39 years ago. I drove, and I had a little kindergarten. You put them on my bus every morning. I would never, not a bigger brother, nobody with them, but that's the parents' choice, I guess. We're not. I mean,
Do we
it's.
have a motion on the table? Do we have any other questions? Otherwise, let's do roll call.
Where is the money going to
Yeah,
come from?
how are we paying for this?
Well, we have several outlets. We have 25% of our dispensary money that can be used, and that, if you looked on that line item right now, is at $103,000. So we have plenty of money in there, and that's exactly what we identified that for, and for $10,000 for a trial. I think that, we can, but this is your decision, so that's where I would suggest taking it. Dan might have another one, but I think we have enough in the general fund that we could also take it out of there as well, but. Okay. Now can we, yes?
At what point do we need to, based on ridership, will we get, this ends in December, correct?
Yes.
So we'll need to make a decision basically by the end of November that if we want to commit to possibly continuing this.
Yes, correct. And I will supply the month at the end of the month, basically the ridership reports and email them right to you.
Okay. You'll have all the data for us per month?
Per
We'll
month,
get,
yeah.
okay.
Because we're looking at the same thing.
Right.
I have to do the same thing for our ridership.
Any
Hopefully
other
it goes.
questions?
Yeah, so going forward, this is always gonna be a quarterly fee? We say, okay, we wanna do this again, are we gonna
It
just?
will be a yearly. I mean, because
We're gonna have to pay a year up front then?
if this route works for the city of Clinton, for the MTA, this route's going to be continuing year round.
Yep, I understand that, but then what's our responsibility? Are we gonna have to come up, we're gonna do it for a whole year, we're gonna have to come up with $40,000 then to continue?
You'll have to, whatever amount we
So our
agree to.
$10,000 increment
Yeah.
is not going
Right,
forward?
and
Okay.
if
I just wanna make
if
that.
the council,
It's
the
just a
city
quarter.
council moves forward and wants their own route, I mean, you're looking at, a couple $100,000 to to make it running, you know, if you buy a bus
If
for
we have
two.
different stops, that's what you're
You'd have,
saying.
you'd have,
three
you'd have
individual
Toll City
routes.
Incorporated, you'd have the paratransit over here. Yeah, we probably would hook up so you can hook up, so the whole system's hooked up together, but you're talking a lot more money. You're looking at, I haven't got my year-end stuff from our finance department yet, but last year is $72.54 an hour. So you're looking, you know, if you want to calculate those hours by, if you want to do 5 days a week, by 52 weeks, I mean, you know, if you're doing 8 hours a day or 10 or whatever, it adds up. So.
We have a question from the audience, and I'm going to allow it.
Thank you, ma'am. My question was kind of with the math, like, the city's paying $10,000 for 3 months, is that correct? Okay.
Yep,
So the year would be,
40.
well, that's only the 25%, right?
Right.
So if we decided to go forward with the whole thing, it'd be 40 times 4 for the year.
No, it would be 40,000 a year,
Oh.
correct?
The quarterly rate stays the same.
Yeah, this would be basically a quarter, so it would be, I would say, we should be right around there, because
Okay.
basically at 40,000, the city Clinton's footing most of the bill right this time, because we're
Oh.
doing 90% of the route.
Yes, sir.
Or 80% of the route, however you look at it.
I thought you were only covering during the trial period only, the 75%. That's how I read the eval, but if I'm mistaken then.
Okay, say that again.
I thought it says 25% of overall cost the city is covering, the other, city of Clinton is covering the other 75%. That's only during the trial period? Or if they do the trial period?
We're just, right now, this number is just for the trial period.
Right.
This is not for the separate years cost.
So we do the 10,000 for the trial period and then decide to go forward, the city of Clinton's not covering percentage any longer?
We'll have to work that out between the two cities.
Okay.
Yeah. We just
I
want,
think that's kind of important,
give you a
that we
taste
know
to
if
figure out
we're
whether
gonna
it's
go
gonna
with
work or
this,
not.
what our
Yes, sir.
annual fee is going to be though.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you estimate that out for us then? He raises a good point, because in here it says they're taking 75% of the cost.
But
For only the
75%
trial
of the
period.
stops
Yeah,
are-
that's for the 3 months, for a quarter.
Yeah.
So 40,000 probably would be a good number.
Okay, well, that's what I wrote down. I
Yeah.
So the assumption is we'll
Depends on
stay
what we
paid
negotiate
about
with
25%. I mean, that's a good negotiating figure that we're gonna kinda aim towards if we move forward
Yeah.
beyond the trial period.
Mhm.
So there's not a chance, what I think he's suggesting is there could be a chance after the trial that all of a sudden we have 100% ownership of this route.
The only way you're gonna get 100% is if we bring a bus over here and
do
stay,
it completely.
because we're covering the whole city.
Got
But,
it.
you know, with that, like with the paratransit, those costs. are
Might
prorated
surprise
in
us,
that.
we might have more use than we thought. I
Well,
like little kids.
With a rate like that, maybe we get our own bus and just deliver to the station over there, like,
And that's why it's a nice thing to try, to
see
see
how many
if it's
people use
going
it.
to be used, to
I
see
agree.
if it's going to.
So who here is going to, like, in the city of Fulton, be like kind of the point person of educating the community, hey, this is happening?
Coordinate,
This
who they gonna
is,
call
you know,
if
who's-
they have a problem?
You
Are
know,
they
is it
gonna call
going to
you?
be
They call
our,
us.
you know,
I know you wanted to put on your
city hall
your Facebook
people?
or
Is
social
it going
media.
to be our,
It'll have to be our city hall people. They are the
He
ones
just
that
said
answer
they
the
can call
phone.
him though.
Well, we,
Yeah.
yeah, either
right, but
way.
I believe that
they're-
it's like our job to market,
Market.
and educate our town that this is available.
That plan's already set in motion, so, but the plan that I have is, I've already talked to some of the pastors, we will get it. I did not want to put it out into the churches, I did not want to put it out on social media, I did not want to get it out to everyone until the decision was made, but I've already.
Right, I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure somebody.
I've already
is going to
preemptively
do
got a
that.
plan set, so
Okay.
once we're approved today, it's a few phone calls
Who you gonna
tomorrow,
call?
and then we're off.
Right, okay.
Good point.
Very good.
Now, if you know, we talk about, you know, buying your own bus, basically that's if we get where you decide you want to put your own route in, that's what I would basically have you guys, you know, City of Fulton buy the buses, one bus, or two buses, one for your backup, and then we run it, we operate it, and obviously that's bigger than what we're doing here. But,
Right.
you know, my drivers, we hook to the system and that, and then you're basically just paying for, like, labor at that point.
Good. Thank you for your point.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions, or should we have roll call? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderperson King,
Yes.
Bergrat,
Yes.
Banker,
No.
Mass,
Yes.
Van Campen,
Yes.
Wilken,
Yes.
Boonstra,
Yes.
Fryedyke.
With that, it passes, so that, going forward, we're
All
gonna do
right.
a trial.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'm sorry it's taken us down to the
All right.
last minute, but we're there. We go on to a motion to approve, as in previous years, the Fulton Christmas Walk to receive $2,000 from the city for the 2023 Christmas Walk, and the Fulton Fall Festival to receive $1,500 from the city for the 2023 Fall Festival.
I make that motion.
And a second, are there any questions? If not.
I have a question. I guess I just kind of wonder why they get 2,000 or the Christmas Walk gets 2 and Fall Fest gets 1,500, because I would say they're,
Because the Christmas lights that are more, we use more Christmas lights and things that are more costly.
I would say that we have a lot of entertainment that is very costly that we have fundraised. So I would like to see it amended that it's equal, and I think if Dutch Days is giving any money from the city, they should get the same amount as well.
Are you giving anybody, Barb?
They pay a Boy Scout troop in Clinton to do our garbage. The city picks that tab up, and that runs, you know, they're here for 2 days and they work 8 hours a day, so it runs. And they're happy to do it, and Public Works would rather not, and so it's a win-win for all of us, so.
I just think if there are city festivals, that the city should
Yeah, I agree. I think
pitch
that's a
in
good
for
point.
equally.
I'll change my motion to make it 2,000.
All right, very good. Amended motion to give each,
It's easy to remember.
yep, it's 2,000 and 2,000. Very good. Can I have a second to that?
Second.
Yep, very good. And roll call, please.
Boonstra,
Yes.
Wilken,
Yes.
Banker,
Yes.
Mass,
Yes.
Bergrat,
Yes.
Van Campen,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Fryedyke.
Very good. Now we go on to the Committee of the Whole, and update from the Personnel Committee on the search for the new city administrator. We met on Saturday morning, and Paul?
Yep, so we met Saturday morning, got some good apps so far. We're going to run that through the 24th of this month, and then we'll shut those down, and then that gives everyone a week to finish up with their app, get them sent in, and then we'll go over them.
Just on Indeed and LinkedIn.
Yep. And
No
we'll-
interviews have been conducted yet?
Oh, no, we're
Okay.
not,
We're not there yet, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
No. So we'll collect them all that first week of September. Then we will meet again, and then probably by that maybe first meeting of September, we may be able to.
We have another meeting in August, so we'll have
Yeah.
another update before you wrapped it up then.
Yeah.
Queen's Dan's retired.
Well, we won't meet again until the first week of September.
We will not have this done. But we're pretty good. We're set with our budget. We're set with everything. We don't have anything in the
We have
works
some
big.
good applicants.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. I'm still kidding.
Yeah, and still getting them. Today, I think I received 6, how many on LinkedIn? 2?
1 on LinkedIn and 3 on Indeed.
Oh, I did more than that, but that was for the weekend, but just today. So yes, we're getting her. Okay. And then we go on to, pardon me?
Will there be an interim in his role?
No,
I didn't hear your question.
If there'd be an interim person handling that role?
Then we go on to the liquor license that were issued for Dandelion Wishes, and that was a B, and the liquor license given to Chuck, which we finally have him paid in full for his D, and because he hasn't had one, and he needed to have, because of the gathering, has a liquor license that people can bring in alcohol, and that's it, you know, and so he needed that license. And so now he has that license. We go on to 3, where are we at with the roads and the sidewalks, Eric?
Right now, we're still waiting for Erickson Paving to do our roads, and we're still doing sidewalks. So we're not doing big sections of sidewalks. We're doing more localized repairs.
Critical pieces.
Mainly getting rid of trip hazards.
Yeah.
So we've kind of started at the north end, and we're working our way south. So
Okay.
I just marked out a bunch more today, and we'll start tearing those out.
Can you give us an idea? I only ask that because I get so many questions from people like, where are they working? I don't see them putting in a new sidewalk. And I say, we're doing the trip hazard first.
Yep.
Can you give me, are we fixing 10 a week? Are we fixing?
It depends on the week and what our
Right.
workload is and what we've got going on. Like,
Water pipe breaks.
What's a goal for you though?
I mean, it all depends because some of them are bigger sections and some of them are, you know,
Yeah.
we just got to take out 2-3 panels and, you know, we can knock 6 of them out in no time.
Okay.
So it just kind of depends on the week and how bad the sidewalk really is.
Okay. And for Erickson Paving, I understand you gotta wait because he's a busy guy.
Yep.
But how many roads do we have slated for that?
So right now, 13th Avenue is going to be where we had the sewer dug up.
Yep.
That's going to be done. 4th Avenue from 4th Street to 6th Street is
Okay.
going to be paved, and then 11th Street from 10th Avenue to 12th Avenue is going to be repaved. Just did a bunch of smaller roads this year, and I'm hoping this winter to get the bigger projects worked out for next year.
Awesome. That, as the council and the mayor, we get asked those questions all the time.
So do I.
And so I'm just like, let's just say it out in the public.
Yep.
And then, same thing, I'm just gonna scoot down to the band shell. Where are we and what is
So
the
the
plan?
band
for that?
shell, I mean, like I said, it kind of depends on our workload. We're hoping to get started on it here in the next month. And then, because I talked to Frary, and they said it would take about a month to get I-beams, maybe? I don't remember exactly. It was I-beams or something was going to take about a month to get. I don't remember what he said now, but so I told him, go ahead and order it at the end of this month, and then by October they should be good to start putting it up. In the restrooms, I'm still waiting to hear back from Frary on it. I called him today, and he said he hasn't had a chance to do it yet, so I'm just kind of waiting to hear back from him and
From
Matt
Peterson?
Yep.
Matt hasn't got
But
back to me yet.
they've been looked at, and so I'm just kind of waiting to hear back numbers at this point.
What's your feeling? I think it's gonna be easier to add on, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Well, it makes sense from the water
It
lines
does.
and everything.
Yep. I think it makes more sense to just add on to what's there. And Matt seems to think it's doable, so
Okay,
yeah, right now we're just kind of waiting on a number to go from there.
very good. Thank you.
Yep.
Dolan, property sale complete. I signed all the paperwork when I got back from vacation, so that's good. Dan gave me numbers. The total coming in will be $814,750. What we owe is $450,000. And so we'll have $364,750, but some of that has to be, and I know at least 1,000 of it will go for the TIF buy-in that we have to pay him on his way, you know, that he gets back.
That doesn't
So we
happen
still
all at
have,
once. That-
no, that is correct, but the first one will be 1,000. So we got 264,750 that's, we can hopefully put back into roads as well. So that's positive. Safety committee, how we doing there?
All right, we met today, reviewed what and where to start with as a code enforcement official. Sounds like we're going to start with just property maintenance code official. We'll kind of get into the rental housing segment. And then on a 10-year plan, we're going to work towards international building code, plumbing, electrical, HVAC inspections, but that will not start right away. So we are planning on visiting a few of the local towns, visiting inspectors, hopefully in the next few weeks. We're going to do Grace Sterling, Rock Falls, possibly P-Town. We're going to discuss the current operations, past roadblocks that they've come up against, and then current issues kind of revolving around that code enforcement. Hopefully something that we can avoid when we start up.
Terry, do we currently have a code for fire anywhere in the city?
There's nothing. There's no
No
inspections.
fire, no
codes.
inspections, no.
No.
We have so many old buildings.
Yes.
With a
And
lot of
that's-
people living in them that I've always wondered, and this is the first time, I guess, that
And that
We talked
even
about
comes
it,
through the
so-
private side. Technically, on the private side, you can't just walk into somebody's house and say, hey, you got an old house.
No,
You
I'm
gotta do
talking
this,
more
this,
about
and this."
apartments where you have.
That's where the rental inspections would come into play.
So is that something then, like, that would be covered in the property maintenance official that you were
Yes.
talking
Yep.
about?
So the property
Initially.
maintenance code, I guess like a 3-day training class. And I couldn't understand.
The other thing we discussed is also incorporating the zoning position into that as well. So that way you have a full-time code enforcement, building inspection, and zoning
Yeah.
to make that a all-encompassing position.
How is our zoning person now? Like, how are they, what are they, appointed?
They are appointed,
Okay.
and they are told at the beginning it could be up to 10 hours a week, but they really just work off of permit. You know, the permits that come in, the calls that come in, then he goes out, then he checks. So 1 week might be very little, another
Right.
week might
And
be very long.
seasons, I'm
And so
sure,
we just
different.
pay him hourly
Okay.
for the hours that he puts in, so.
We did talk to another person that is currently doing some of these inspections in a local town. It's $23.75 an hour. They do it 10 hours a week. We were speculating possibly 30 hours a week starting out. We're going to have a big hill to climb first starting. The gentleman we talked to, he works really from March, April to September, October. And then he's off in the winter months.
Okay.
This would not be that, it'd be year-round.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we're looking into it because I think it's something that we need to address, especially with buildings falling down in many of the cities around us. I think it's probably a good idea because even with no coverage, we would be hit. You know, then we'd get sued for not having anybody. So whether we do or we don't, but I'd rather that we do, so we have a little bit of safety there. So I thank you for doing the work that you're doing so far, and it sounds like a good start.
And we have a emergency operations plan meeting. That's going to be August 28th, 11 a.m. here at City Hall.
Got it. Go on to, you're still up, Terry. Shirts.
So I talked to Deb Worsman out of D&M. She gave me a couple sample shirts. There's a lady shirt on top, men's polo below. $25 a piece. It'll be a $30 setup fee for the logo. But after the setup fee, you can go down and you can put the logo on any shirt. This is the colors that it's available in. If I want to take a look.
Terry showed me, I said, I didn't want to make that decision.
I guess I'm missing out on that discussion.
Oh, you
So,
are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just
you
a
went
reference in the minutes.
So you went to National Night Out.
I did.
You went down there, and some people knew you, some people didn't. They don't know your title. So what we're looking at is having shirts made for the council members of the city, to have the City of Fulton logo on it, your name, placeholder person, just when you're out and about in the community, you know, doing those events, they know who you're.
Good job.
I'm not real fond of the concept, just because I like going to those
And you
as a
don't have to
citizen
wear it.
and
You
not
don't have to
gonna.
wear it.
You don't have to wear
So,
it.
okay, then
Yeah.
if you want, okay, I'm good with that, because we wear our Fulton Fun Cruise shirts.
I usually don't
if
wear
we're
it.
that.
But I just-
But if it's hot,
Yeah.
I won't wear it either. But that's just fine, because when I go to these events, I really want to go as a Fulton citizen. I take calls and I talk to anybody about city business, whether it's my ward or not, anytime somebody wants to. But when I'm down there, I really want to be part of the crowd and not be there as somebody that, so. As long as this is not
Mandatory?
mandatory,
No,
I'm
it's
good.
not
You can wear whatever you
mandatory.
want.
My vote would be Carolyn Drew or Royal or Black.
Can I get, just a straw poll? Do we
Can I see
want
those
to
shirts?
put, yeah, you want to put them on as a motion for next meeting? Yes? Jackie, yes? Sure. Barb, you don't care?
I don't, and I don't,
Yep,
I don't wear
okay.
a gray either, so.
All right, there we go.
There's a whole pile of colors in there.
Okay, so we wouldn't be obligated to,
No.
well, anyway.
It'd be good, like, if we had a gray show again, because we're gonna have to take these classes, and we're gonna
Yes.
have to work it.
Yeah.
That'd be a good time to have these shirts.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure
That's
there'll
good.
be situations that arise where
Yeah.
yep. I don't
Well,
think
Barb
it's,
Barb didn't hear that either,
What?
Hey, man.
about
The NIMS training.
Oh,
NIMS training.
Yeah,
oh,
you have to.
well,
Yeah, the
go
NIMS
ahead, Jerry,
training.
you can
I didn't see any of that in the minutes. I went over the minutes several times because I missed the meeting last time.
NIMS training
It was the
is,
meeting before.
in order for us to get federal money or state money, if we have a disaster here, if we're not on NIMS compliant, then, yeah, they'll send us equipment and stuff to help us. We're paying it out of our pocket. If we're all NIMS compliant, then the state or the federal government will pay it. So what we're talking about doing, go ahead.
A little bit of a cleanup. It's, if, to be eligible for certain federal funding from grants and disaster recovery things, you have to have people who have that NIMS compliancy. If we get hit with the derecho again, we are now where we weren't before. We are now part of the IPW ban, which would have been a much better mutual aid resource to take care of some of the problems. But if we were to be struck with a disaster, as long as we meet the requirements of that disaster as claimed by the governor or the federal government, we would be eligible for some of those monies. We don't have to have the NIMS certification to get that type of money, to get disaster preparedness grants, to get other grants, maybe that the feds are involved with. Yes, they're going to look for that NIMS compliancy. So it's not so much the recovery asset portion of it as it is the preparedness financial feasibility. Am I pretty much right on
And
that
so,
one?
so how does that impact us as aldermen?
So as an older person, you're an elected official within the confines of the city of Fulton. If we were to go out and we were to do, Eric was to do $1 million grant for new pumps for storm sewer to blow all the storm sewer water out into the river, which I don't know, maybe you can't do that, but whatever, hypothetically, outside of my wheelhouse. We might apply for it, but then get denied because we don't meet the NIMS requirements as required by the feds. So as long as everyone goes through the they're really simple 1.5 hour classes that you get a certification at the end of it, and it's good for eternity. Depending on the type of situation, that's where the mayor pro tem, fire chief, myself, I already have it. There's some other upper echelon classes that are good in the event of a natural disaster. And you have, as an elected official on the board, Barb, like yourself, NIMS 1 in 700, 3 hours, you're out. And when we do grants in the future, we're more eligible for that funding because we're telling the federal government, the state government, hey, we are committed to this, and all of our people have those certifications. And it's a good opportunity for you to learn in a disaster
I was going to say, I
how
would think
things go.
that's good information to have. So.
And what they've done is Boyd has said they can set it up at the fire department for a Saturday morning for 3 hours or so. And we can all go down, and it's done computer-based, and we can all do it at one time, get done, and get the certificate.
I think it's a great idea. I think anytime we can learn anything about safety and helping, it's a great idea.
So
No, I'm willing to.
I talked to him today, and he's working on setting it up in the next month or two.
When you have a chance, tell me what NIMS and I thought that.
National Incident Management System.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to come up with a color between all of us. Does anybody care?
I'd say blue or black. Any variation on the blues.
Carrie's a blue.
Dark blue.
Royal.
Blue. Royal, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Does anybody have?
Well, what's our logo? Would it just be white? Embroidered in white?
No, our logo is, what is
The
it?
logo is a royal blue.
Oh.
Well, and they can digitize that in that any
And make
color.
it white.
Debbie can do just fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put it on there for blue.
We're not putting like our names or all their.
You said it could
You
be
will
any
put-
color, didn't it?
You, it can be any color, yeah. But I think we should all be the same.
Well, you make her run.
Yeah, because, yeah. Or can it be any color?
She doesn't mind.
Okay.
It's just 20.
And in that $30 can go on any color?
Any color, you got a T-shirt, you want to put that logo on, it's already there, pay for the shirt.
Well, that's what I asked him, because I said I wouldn't mind having a sweatshirt with that
Yeah, it'd
logo.
just be a one-time setup fee.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
okay.
But
We'll just
are we
make
putting
the
our
motion-
name on these, or, yes, okay.
Yep. With a patch right here. Okay. Now we go on to number 7. Signs coming into Fulton are in such disrepair, they reflect badly on our town, and when they're not updated, we either fix them or set a short-term goal. This is a request from me and Leslie. Leslie, I asked her to change the board for the Totally Tuesdays. We don't have anybody that does that on a regular basis. She says you have almost impossible hard time pulling them in and out. Did you have trouble?
I didn't have any issues, so I'm not sure which one she's talking about, but I did it with ease, so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, well, to me, it's something to be discussed, so either we use them or we don't.
Find someone that will do them.
Yes.
Or
Yes,
get new ones, is kind of
Yes.
what we're saying here.
yes.
They are really old.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I don't have any attachment to them, so I don't know if anybody else does it. Oh, let's save these, or maybe we just look at something.
Right. And that's something that I think we can, I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention for when we go into the next budget year
Yeah.
and see if we can find some monies.
Okay.
I would love to do
You've looked into
digital.
some digital ones before. What, do you have any?
About 25,000 to 30,000,
Or for
yes.
two?
No, for one. And it depends on what you wanted to do and things. This was a really nice one. I think it was based off of Cordova's. That theirs was about that.
Yeah.
And Nick's been looking a little bit, but it's just something that I'd like to
We
have
tried
it
an
out
electronic
there.
sign before when we still owned the fire station.
Right.
And it wasn't well received because there's so much traffic going on and you can't really just sit there then
And read it.
read it because
Yeah.
somebody's honking. So, and
Well,
I
if you
just
had
the
one at
same
the
way-
light,
Yes, that's where we should put
That
one
would
at
be
the
a-
light.
That would be
And then
decent
at
place.
84 would be another
Problem
place.
is we don't own property over there.
at 84.
Right here, either.
Yeah, we don't own any of this property.
We have to talk to IDA.
And
We'll say no.
They probably don't want you reading
it'd be a
some of
tough
these.
sell. I mean, I'm not saying they're gonna say no, I'm just saying it'll be a tough sell because it's their property you're putting it on.
Okay.
So
Well, I
Signs-
talked
signs
to
are
Nicholas Escobar, who's Con Ed, and I think he will get the
he
power.
doesn't talk to IDOT.
No, No.
Yeah, they're a different breed. I don't know. I don't want to say.
So what would be another option, Eric?
Well, if we kept them right where they're at, they're on our property, correct?
Where?
The current signs, like if we
Yeah,
kept them where we
if they're
currently
where
have
they're at,
them.
it would just be getting power to them.
To them?
Yeah, that would
Okay.
be the only thing yet. Which I don't think it'd be a big deal to get power to them. It's just an extra cost.
I really think what is more effective than anything is the banks. That
Well,
folks
they
down
do
there
do
on
that,
Fulton
but if
Avenue.
we have our own-
I read that one probably more than anything else because it's just there. And you have a driving distance that you can read it.
Well, the
Where you're not
middle
turning a
school,
corner.
the middle school has one, and when
Oh.
I'm driving by, I'll be like, "When's picture day?"
Yeah.
And I'll slow down and wait for the date
It
to
is.
come
It's
up.
true.
Like,
So-
so I mean, if you're looking for information,
Oh, yeah.
you can pull up and
Right.
read it, I guess.
Well,
But
that's
you have a
for
long
future.
distance going by the bank where when you're turning the corner and there's one, then you don't have much.
That's true, yeah.
That's a future discussion, so we can think about that for next year, but the other signs are very old to me, so. And then
But
you
we
went
should
through.
budget for something
Yes,
for next
and you,
year.
yeah, you have to do that.
Well, then
so.
you have time to play it.
Right.
You research it.
Yep. And we've talked about the band shell, now we go on to committee reports, finance, I don't think you met.
We meet, Wendy, the third Wednesday of the month, and so no need to put this on the first month meeting we meet. In fact, the committees I'm on all meet after this first
Okay.
meeting.
Okay.
So if you would just consistently put that on the second meeting of the month, you'll
Lauren,
catch us.
do you have that? Yep. Okay. And then personnel, Paul already talked about that, economic development, I don't think we've met yet. Parks and Rec, Sue?
We haven't met yet.
Okay. Is everybody meet after? Can I kind of
Yeah,
ask that?
after the first.
Okay.
Yeah, that or the second Monday.
Okay. Well, public safety, you did today and you explained that. Do you have anything more to add? He's shaking his head. No. Marina?
We don't meet till Thursday.
Thursday.
Okay.
There's another one that
Okay, so that one can go in the last one. Tourism
Wednesday.
and zoning, we have nothing. And my mayor's report, I just wanted to show you what I've been doing, so I put in the agendas that I've gone to. It was very interesting to go over and talk with Senator Wynn Stoller. I'm liking the fact that he's trying to get to all of the different counties that he's representing. And Gary Camerano set up this meeting for economic development. He asked me to speak on the Illinois Route 30 just because it was in the paper and that was a positive. But there were 6 different, and you've seen them in there, so I don't have to go on with that anymore. And then next week, I'm going to the Northern Illinois mayor's meeting, and that's always good just to do your little, talking with each other's towns and things like that. So I'm trying to get more meetings than I was before when I was working all the time. So I'm just going to try to keep you updated on that. And of course, when I went into DC, the contacts that you make were just the most important part. Because not only did we get to meet with the representatives, the senators, but you get those internal cards that those guys do the work. And so those are the people that I'm working with now to keep going with this funding. I found it very positive for 1.2 million. Nobody said anything. We just have to keep our lines of communication open. And they said this is right up the wheelhouse of, as far as what they're giving out for appropriations. The appropriations wouldn't be given out until the end of December. And so we'll be just keep contacting them, but that was a positive to go in there. And it was a great experience. I liked it more than going into the IML, and I think the cost was less for the city, so it was really, really good. And then Alderman report.
I just have a request for the next meeting. I was fortunate enough to attend when Dan and the architect talked about Main Street over there at
Yep.
the gatherings one night. But I don't know if any of the other aldermen have had that presentation, so I would like to suggest that we have that at our next meeting, that we
Okay.
see that same,
You
we
want
got a
Matt?
PowerPoint presentation, and it's
Matt
really
Haynes.
interesting and informative about what's happening with Main Street, so.
So, Matt is actually, when he gets a little farther along, he's gonna actually have a 3D video of what downtown will look like, but we're still trying to iron a few things out yet. So, once he has that, then I think he want to come to the council and show everybody this, but
Because a lot of people are asking
I
about
think,
it.
did he say it was like October-ish is
Yeah.
when it would be done?
Yeah,
Yeah,
later
so
in
he-
the
he
fall.
didn't-
later
Yeah,
in
he
the
said he'd
fall.
let us know ahead of time,
Okay.
but it'll be, I
That'll be
think, in
great.
October.
And that's what I put in the letter that went out to everyone, that we will have town meetings. We will have the opportunity for people to come and look and see and make an opinion or a suggestion or anything like that. So we just gotta get it to that point, don't we, Mary?
Yep.
So,
Well, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I just thought it was great that I got to see that, so I'd like to see that.
I would like to bring up, I think we need to tend to this room.
okay.
We definitely have a little problem here, and I think it needs to be taken care of right away.
What's the problem?
Mold,
Oh,
bad.
We do, if you can see our,
We got rid of those.
Yeah.
Put those.
oh, you did get rid of those, very good.
Yeah.
We have mold that's growing on our chairs, we have mold that's in the
Well,
corners.
it is cold in here, I can believe it.
Yes.
I
It's
know,
cold,
it's
Mold
But
on
it's
my
not
skin if I sat in
taking,
here.
it's not taking the moisture out though, Barb. It's cold, but it's still really moist in
It's a
here.
brand new system that we have from Boots.
No,
Not
not
here.
there,
This
not
is
here.
a 1992 pulse furnace in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, this side
I
has
thought we
not.
did the whole building.
No,
Well, we're working on
so,
Yeah.
and I think Sue's talking about, I was given $5,000 to get the chairs, paint, but when we met at the personnel committee, we talked and Paul said, you know, let's just do it
It needs
all.
to be done.
Yeah, it needs to be done. I mean, Sue was literally sick from Saturday's meeting, and so I'm like, well, it doesn't bother me that much, but I think we just need to get
I'm
it
highly
done.
allergic to mold. Nothing.
So,
And I did talk to
so what's the plan?
my dad, and we can look at doing just a big dehumidifier, just changing the system.
oh, okay.
So they do have commercial dehumidifiers that we can attach to the ductwork, where it just takes a sampling out and just dehumidifies and puts it back in. So
Oh, okay.
you can actually run that without running the air conditioner, and that'll make it feel cooler when it's actually
Right, because that's what it does now. It just feels wetted.
it's overcooling and not dehumidifies.
What do you think there's mold behind it?
Yeah, we'd like to take this out, make it square, so that we get rid of the paneling completely. Maybe put shelves back here so we can have our code books. Everything is reachable for a meeting, and it just wouldn't look so dated. Take the speakers down, paint the walls.
New
Mark's
chairs.
pictures are perfect, as far as, we'll just put them right back
Yeah.
up. Like to do a dark gray in the back, what's called pussy willow gray on the walls, and then this, if it's dark back here, is going to show us more on the camera. So
I don't know if
And
that's
it's
necessary.
like-
Okay. We're gonna paint this white then.
and white trim. I would like to do
White
white
color.
all the trim.
And then extending
Yes,
It's light gray,
we'd
but
like to
the
extend
platform.
these out about
Dark
12
gray.
Oh, the
inches.
light gray. It will be, yes.
Yeah, because our chairs like.
No, she's talking about dark.
And we have the chairs.
We
Everybody's
used to
okay
have-
with
we
the
used to have
chairs?
two-
Keith?
two
Good
chairs.
chair?
Oh my
City
gosh.
clerk used to also sit up here.
Yes.
Sheesh. You must have been on like stools.
Well, that's when I said.
Well, the city clerk and the city
That's what she said, 2 more
administrator.
people sat
Yeah.
out here.
No, I said we had 2 more people.
Or no,
First one, the administrator will sit up here.
And I would like to make a motion to put it on the next agenda.
Okay.
So we can, sooner the better.
Extend these a little bit.
Yeah, that's on there.
Okay.
12 to 18 inches either side.
Yeah.
So we get the carpet or just?
Yes.
Yes.
And the
Or will it
commercial
just be-
squares. Now, the
Oh, okay.
commercial squares, we talked about maybe just doing like, you know, the click together, but Nick brought up a good point. You need the sound. You don't need it, you know, you
And
have
let's
to have
make
the
sure we buy
carpet.
the carpet from the local carpet dealer. We have a carpet business in Fulton, right?
Well, we'll see. And then, I think it's where we get the best deal, but you never know. And then we go on to city administrators report. There is none. Chief of police, no. Public director, no. All next month. Historical report was on 33. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I'd like to go over the agreement that was on the agenda last time for discussion.
Okay.
So I'd like to just put it back on.
Okay.
Since I couldn't make it last time. So I got a handout. So this is the first handout that I gave you in last week's packet. So you've seen this before. That's why it's dated for that last meeting. And I'd like to just go over it real quickly with you. So this was in your handout, so I'll just go real quickly, just giving you some background, and I thought this is a good opportunity to do it.
Dan did talk about it though last week.
Okay,
so you know.
I'll just go quickly over this one. The Martins will provided for the donation of the property at 707 10th Avenue to the city. They also gave $1.3 million in cash assets, and there were 4 different recipients. 1/4 of that cash, the $355,000, was gifted to the city with the intent that it would be used to support the Museum Community Center as specified in the will. All of this happened in 1998, so now it's been 25 years. The written agreement currently under a 5-year review was adopted in 2010. So for those first 10 years that the city owned the building, we were not managing the finances. We were asked immediately to manage the project, but we were not actually managing the finances. So prior to that time, the city clerk handled the business aspects of the operation. The bills went to her. She paid the bills. If one happened to come to us, I would come to her, and she handled that. This written document now that we currently have that we want to renew has been really well done. Dave Murray over at Ward, Murray and Pace, we still use that firm, although Dave is retired, but he had been recommended to us by Tom Seneff, who had written the will, and he had recommended Dave because he had a lot of experience of doing that, and it was a good deal for us because it's a document that's worked well for us. What we liked so well about it as being the managers is it spells out specifically what the council expects us to do. We have to keep the building in good order, take good care of it. We have to have programs. We have to be open, and that's spelled out. So that was really good for us to know that what's expected of us. It also keeps all the control of the money with the city, so you control the money. And we put that monthly statement in the packet every single month, so at any time you know what's spending. And we spend without approval from the city for regular bills. But if we want to do something, remove a tree, then we come to the council and say. So a good example of that, recently we had a problem with the brick wall. There was a bulging on one of the walls, and we had that repaired. And then the masonry company that did it suggested that we put a sealer really on the whole house. Now, it's 168 years old, and it has stood the test of time very well. It's in good shape. It's in better shape today than when we got it 25 years ago, because you have so many people lovingly take care of it. So that's a real plus. But the agreement has worked well for us, and we will always be grateful for Dave Murray doing that for us, because he was a great person to put that together. The only thing that I just wanted to bring to discussion to you is on number 8, and you don't have the agreement in front of you. I didn't copy it again, but it's in your packet from last time if you still have that. Otherwise, give me a call, and I've got some here if you want, but I didn't have Tori print all that again. But it used to be, when we first started, an alderman or 2 would come to the museum once a year and just do a site visit. And we'd walk through and say, we'd like to do this, we'd like to do that, and then that person would report to the council. And that's just kind of fallen away over the last years. We still think that's a good idea, since the city owns the building, that somebody here would come once a year, walk through the building. And I even talked to Dan and Eric, it would be great if the city administrator and the public works director too, they don't come there.
I've never been there.
He's never, neither's Dan. So, I mean, I just think that would be good for the city to have them look at it. They might see something that we don't have. So we're asking that to be inserted, that. Then if you flip
And
the
then
page.
that would be upon your request. I don't think you want the city to keep track of that. I mean, I think
No.
you guys,
We'll
you just
initiate
ask.
it. We'll just
Okay.
say, yep. And we prepare our budget, so prior to the budgets
Yeah.
getting here, we do that, and then we come in and meet with the city administrator in the fall before the budget starts. We try to do ours first and get that out of the way. So that would be a good time to ask then for somebody to come. Then if you look on the flip side, Tammy printed this out for me. This is the balance sheet on the city of Fulton, as I mentioned, for the Martin House. So with the investment, after 10 years of discussion, and it was a real challenging time for us, because as aldermen came on, they'd say, well, let's do something else with that money. So it was challenging all those years, and it was nerve-wracking from the standpoint, we didn't know if the museum was going to be there or not. So when people wanted to donate something to us, we weren't sure of that security. And that's what that agreement gave us, is that, you know, we've now got it settled and it's going to have to. So on your monthly, or your packet, there's a sheet in here always with the fund balance. And the Martin House Fund is always on this page here. Comes every month. It's with the treasurer's report. And we are fund number 76 on there, and that tells you how much money we have. The city has it in a money market fund, and that's what their, where that is. And I'm gonna come back and just mention that just in a minute. So there's, this is what the city owns in relationship to that, tied to that property, is that money market that I just showed you, where you can always find what the balance is. Our GE stock, we've always kept, it fluctuated in the first few years that we had it, when GE was kind of moving up and down. The council one time voted if it ever went higher than what it was given to us, it would be sold, but it never has, because it really has pretty much steadily declined. So there's never been any interest on anybody's part. It's a good investment. It's not going to grow much for us, but it's there, and it keeps us diversified. And then after this difficult time about people, aldermen, other people, well, let's spend the money on this, or let's take half the money. Finally, when we put the agreement together and agreed on terms, then $250,000, $250,000 out of that $355 went down to locally to FACE board, who can supervise that. And then FACE is a part of the community foundation down in Bettendorf. That's where the money is invested, and the city owns that money.
That's where you get your $12,000.
And that's where we currently now, in the last few years, it comes out to about, we get $12 a year. It comes here, and then Tamba gives it to us. We put it in our account, and that's what we manage the Martin House money on. And so when we need to do something a little bigger, you know, we just get more conservative and we save that, so we don't ever come back to the city. We can, you know, manage the property very well on that $12,000. But the first couple of years, we were getting $18,000, so investments were a little better at that time. But anyway, you can always see this also every month to see if you're interested in that. So then I've got just one more handout. This is just a couple of other things that I thought about. So this is to all of us and anybody else who's interested. And do people want some? I have extra copies. Do you want to see? Or maybe they don't. I passed it. So they're probably a good key. Anyway, just quickly then, while Maxine Martin's will was read, the city was notified by their attorney, the real estate, and I already told you that, and Dan might have mentioned all this too. So Paul Sikkema, who was the mayor at the time, he called me and said, you know, you got this Fulton Historical Society, would you be interested to manage the property? The city's never owned a museum, we have no desire to own a museum, or we don't have a desire to run one, we don't know anything about it. If you'll take it on, well, this was a big thing for us. I mean, we were used to sitting around writing articles on historic buildings and looking at pictures and just enjoying ourselves, so this was gonna be a challenge. So we contacted the State Historical Society. They sent 2 architects and 2 operational people up to spend 2 days with us, and they really encouraged us to accept the offer that the city had, that we would manage the property. The number one reason is that nobody was going to donate anything to us if we didn't have a repository. We needed a building, we needed something that could be safe and secure, and it is alarmed on all of that. We needed climate control so that people would give us these historical significant things. So after much discussion, we took that project on, and it's been 25 years for us now. So the property was deeded to the city in 1999, and then within the next year, we got our Self-Historical Society, we got serious about our structure. So we got articles of incorporation, and we got IRS, our nonprofit status. We really got serious then about taking this on. Like I said, first few years were rough because we never knew if the city was going to consistently give this money, but that agreement was decided in 2010, and so it's been smooth for us. So another point that I want to share with all of you, especially those of you who are new, the will also states that Fulton can never sell the real estate. If for any reason a city council would decide they just didn't want to have the Fulton Museum anymore, the property goes to the Presbyterian, not reverts. It goes to the Presbyterian Church. Mr. Martin wanted to make sure that the city didn't use this just as a moneymaker for something else. And that was really important, and so that's why they did that. And it worked out well for the church because they were just building a new building. They also are one of the recipients, so they got some of that money, but the property would go, so I think it's important for all of you to know that. Another thing that was nebulous that I just want to share with you, and I talked to Neil about this in July. He and Ron Rolls were appointed by the mayor then to work out the terms as a small committee representing both groups, and then came back to us. Both of them came and talked to us, and then they talked to the city, and that's how we ended up with the agreement. But Neil said that they set aside this money. That's what you're seeing in Fund 76. And that money was put there so that if there was any kind of an emergency, the city automatically has money. They don't have to wait to get it for us. We've never even considered taking it out of the endowment. We treat it like an endowment. We respect it, and we don't go into that. So that's why this money is here. And Neil said he doesn't remember. I've heard him tell it many times over the years, in the last 13 years. He doesn't remember how much. I told him what we had now, and he said, I don't know. We just wanted to make sure that the city had access to this money immediately, should anything happen. So that's what that's for. That's an emergency fund for the city, not for us, but for the city if you want to use it. And then I mentioned too that 250 is down in Community Foundation. And again, I just remind you, 76 is that fund balance. And just want to tell you that it's been 25 years, and we'd like to celebrate that in 2024. It's been 25 years, and we started out with an empty house, and all 11 rooms are filled, and we have a wonderful time there. We just have so many people come, and we have our hours fixed, and we have our programs in place. We've got some really great ones this fall, September, October, November. So we're hoping each one of you will make your way up there, come to the programs, come for a tour.
Well, we'll have it on for next month for action to
Any questions?
the agreement. And
Barb, it said up to 50,000?
Neil couldn't remember how much. When I showed him this, he said, I can't remember now.
Yeah, because I only see 29.
That's all that's there.
Yeah.
He just was, it was just a conversation that I wrote down for all of your benefit because, it happened 13 years ago. And he said, maybe we put up to 50. you know, I just put those notes down, because there's nothing here at City Hall that documents any of this. So this way, by doing it at the meeting, it gets into the council minutes. And then it's there for anybody else. And we did have the property put on the National Registry of Historic Places. That was a fun project, but took a lot of time and money. But we applied for a grant to get help with that because it was expensive to do. It is the only building in Fulton that's on that, has that status. The downtown Fulton, however, is on the National Registry of Historic Places. Our downtown Main Street, which is another topic. Anyway,
Any other questions?
I do have a question on, I think it was supposed to be brought up, the windmill fund.
We
well,
don't
that
have-
has to, that's not mine.
No, that's not hers, and I will put that on for discussion for next. We're waiting to get back something from the cultural center that says their fund balance, and so that's why it hasn't been presented to the council as of yet. But we've made the request to get that, and we haven't had that for several years. And with the new CA coming on, I said to Dan, I said, you need to get that information to us. So we'll make sure and keep it there, but the best way to keep it there, and Tori and I talked about it, unless something gets resolved under the discussion items, we're just gonna keep them there. We're just gonna keep them there in plain sight so that we can not forget anything.
Well,
So
that's
thank you, Jerry. Yeah. And
Any
so-
questions? If you have any, call me, because then we'll put it on to approve the agreement for.
There's no reason to go into closed session, so may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And support?
Second.
And all those in favor say aye.